is going on, Taurus? Chris Anthony coming at you guys live and direct. This is going to be your reading for the second half of August, the 15th through the 31st. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed that Aquarius full moon that happened last night and the energies that will be kind of carrying on into the second half of August. This is going to be your general reading, Taurus, so it may not resonate with everyone. If it does resonate with you, do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, comment on the channel. And if it does not resonate, you can always check out your rising, moon sign, or one of the previous readings that I did for Tauruses, all right? Taurus, you guys came out big in the first half of the month, so I definitely appreciate the love, the support, the comments, all that. I definitely want to give a shout out to Pretty Boss TV for kind of sending a lot of Tauruses my way. For all you guys that came over from Pretty Boss, I definitely appreciate you guys for trusting her judgment and, commenting and showing the love right back at you, Pretty Boss. So if you guys haven't heard about Pretty Boss TV, she has a pretty great channel, right? I've been on it for a while now. She's a good reader, so you guys can check her out at Pretty Boss TV, and I'll link that in the description. But yeah, definitely appreciate you, Tauruses, for coming out and showing that support. All right, so we're going to be hopping into your present energy right here. This will be your main storyline like we always do it. After that, we'll be hopping into your futuristic energy on the left side. This will be your supporting details, all right? And yeah, if you guys don't already follow me on IG, that'll be at chrisanthony14lbs if you want to follow me, and that'll be in the description. Also, I also have personal readings open to the public, so if you guys want a more personalized reading, email me about that. That will be in the description, and everything else that surrounds that. All right, so let's go, Taurus. Crowning your reading above, we have the World card, and it's clarified by the Seven of Wands. So I do feel like with this World energy, this is talking about something that's kind of being closed out is what I'm feeling. The picture that I got with your whole reading while I was kind of shuffling was somebody that's trying to kind of go through a tunnel, right? The end of a tunnel before it collapses, before the opening collapses. And this is kind of like the image that I got. So I do feel like you guys are coming out of a certain cycle, or leaving a certain environment, or leaving, some people behind or some energies behind, and you only have a certain amount of time. Now I do feel like you are the one that's going to be making it through this certain portal or this opening or this tunnel, right? But everything behind you, it does seem like it's going to be collapsing. And you guys do have the Tower card in the reading, so I'll get into that later on. But with this World card, I got the image of somebody speeding through this opening, right? Speeding through this new beginning, this new cycle that's starting, but actually kind of looking back a little bit almost, or having the urge or being tempted to look back on what's happening behind you, right? But when I was shuffling, the message that I got was that you can't stop this, right? And I think it's going to have to do with some other people, maybe, or an environment you were in that's just going to come crumbling down, and you're going to be the only one that is able to make it through this portal. But there's a certain amount of you feeling sorry a little bit for the other people or for this place that you were in, because it can't come with you through to this new beginning. Right now, I also feel on another side that there is a certain type of energy, or it could be people that are trying to stop you from making it through this portal at the same time, because you have the Seven of Wands here. That talks about you being on the defense, you pushing through, right, and trying to get to this new beginning. But there seems like some forces are trying to hold you back, or trying to keep you there inside of this collapsing timeline, like something or someone wants you to fall with it. Yeah. And to be honest, Taurus, the thing that came to mind when I was thinking about this is, I think it's like a scripture. Yeah. in the Bible, and it talks about how we wrestle not against flesh and blood, right? But against like spiritual wickedness or powers and, darkness in high places. This is like you're wrestling against false programming, is what I kind of feel like anyway. Um, yeah, so there's kind of like a fight that's happening in the end of August, or some type of struggle that's going to be going on with you moving on into this brand new cycle, into this brand new world that you've been on trajectory to move into for a while, but there is going to be a struggle at the end of this tunnel, right? So you can see the light, you're heading through it, but there's like this last obstacle that's there trying to stop you from moving on into it. And it could just be that you're looking back and you're seeing how the destruction is coming behind you, right? Or things are being closed out behind you, and you're just like, oh wow, like goodness, I didn't know that. I almost feel like that story. I don't know why I'm going so much into the Bible. I don't know, but that story that happened where um the town or this city was being destroyed, right? And then they were supposed to leave and not look back. Yeah, I think Lot, something like that, right? And his sister or somebody, or sorry, I haven't read the Bible in a while, but that was the story. Like somebody was leaving, a city was being destroyed, and I think God told them to not look back. This is kind of like the message that's happening with you guys. Um, Yeah, so let's go over here because this is the tower moment that's happening, but I do feel like this tower moment has something to do with your surroundings, not so much to do with you. Um, Things around you could be falling apart, could be falling down, could be collapsing. This older cycle is totally collapsing, and you are going to have to kind of turn a blind eye to it, kind of turn your back on it, kind of focus on your work, is what I feel like, or what it is that you're trying to build in this new cycle, where you're trying to get to your goals, and just allow these other people or this environment or this older cycle just to come tumbling down, because it's no longer going to be attached to you, right? For some of you guys, this could definitely be some belief systems. It could be a way that you viewed the world. It could be some inhibitions that you've had, or like I said, some false programming that is kind of coming tumbling down, but it is influencing you because it was attached to you maybe for a while. um because when I see this card, seven of wands, but with the picture that's here, it has to do with maybe some type of dark energy, or just thinking that was very low vibrational programming that has been with you for a while, and it's being cut out of your life now, but you have a certain attachment to it, right? So you are going to have to kind of look at this thing that's falling away from you very logical. Pretty much you're observing it, but you're not choosing to act on it or be emotionally attached to it, which is good that you're coming up as the King of Swords right here when it comes down to this tower moment, because this timeline is collapsing, but your focus does not need to be on it, right? I feel like you are going to be standing in your truth in a certain type of way, standing on what you believe in, what you see for yourself, and not allowing yourself to be distracted by these movements that will be happening, or people that will be falling out of your life, or, you know, environments or cycles that will be ending. So you are kind of giving it the cold shoulder, which is needed, because if you don't, you could find yourself going backwards, or not, going through this brand new start, this brand new beginning. It's kind of what I'm feeling like. You have the Eight of Pentacles here, clarified by the Five of Wands. So yeah, you are hard at work. You're focused. You're building. You're investing your time, your energy. You are kind of using your work to turn a blind eye to these things that are happening behind you, to be honest. And I think that's the best thing that you can do right now. Just invest totally on what you're building, because you won't have any control, or you can't really do anything about this thing, that's this massive tower that is falling down, that's collapsing, right? Like, you can't stop this. It's what I keep hearing. So you're choosing instead to invest in yourself, invest in what you're building. But there is some type of internal struggle that will be here because you have the Five of Wands, right? So there's a certain, you know, mixed energy here. Like, on one end, you do want to focus, you do want to just stay, you know, tied into your vision and what you want to build for the future, but you are conflicted because maybe you have some type of emotional attachment to this thing that's fallen away from you, to these people that's being cut out of your life, or this tower that's just collapsing. And so you are going to maybe go back and forth internally, you know, on the idea of, well, maybe I could do something, maybe I could help, maybe I could, you know, stop this from happening, maybe I could, you know. So but those will be those internal thoughts that'll be coming. But externally, what you'll be doing is just staying focused and not coming off of your workbench, not getting up to see what's happening and what's falling away, not, you know, turning around to see the city being destroyed behind you, because this is literally what I feel like is happening. But you are going to continue to look forward. You will stay grounded and you will stay, you know, working, but internally you will be kind of dealing with the temptation to look back, to go back, you know, to go back into this type of thinking, or to deal with these lower vibrational energies, or, you know, to be tied up again in a thing that you already freed yourself from. Right? So maybe you'll have to be overcoming this in the end of August going into September. But because it is a five, you know, of wands, it's a lower energy, right? It's not such of a big deal. Now, for some of you other guys, this could be some type of competition or bickering, or you know, fights, smaller disputes that are happening in your job or at your job environment, right? With people that are in competition with you in some type of way, and they're wanting, you know, to defeat you or get the upper hand, or just, you know, if they're competing against you, they're wanting to win against you. So you're having to be very much focused, because in your workplace, there's kind of like a competitive energy, competitive vibe that's coming up. And so you have to use all of your focus and energy in your workplace, because of, you know, you're not wanting to lose at the end of the day. So even though there's something being closed out in your life, you're just focused on the future because whatever is being closed out is the past, right? Unfortunately, and it's nothing that you could stop. But yeah, I do feel like judgment has come to a certain situation, to a certain group of people, or a certain environment you were in, and they could be falling apart, but it's out of your hands, like it's out of your control. This is just, it has to happen. And you also have to be freed from it. You know, so even though there's going to be a little bit resistance that's there, you are making it through this tunnel as it collapses. And this energy that kind of wants you to keep, you know, staying behind with it, or this energy that wants to keep you in this older, you know, collapsing timeline, it won't be able to win over you. Because I do feel like it's energy, to be honest, Taurus. But you're coming through this cycle, you know, because it's part of your destiny, is what I feel like. It's part of this divine timing and plan that's supposed to be happening around you. So nothing will be able to stop you from moving forward. You just definitely have to keep your eye on the prize, is what I feel like. Now over here you have the Nine of Swords, and it's clarified by the Hierophant. So yeah, you are kind of, you know, worried a little bit. You're anxious, you're stressed out, maybe, you know, about this whole shift that's happening, that's occurring, this change, because I do feel like it's a major change that's happening, and for some reason you feel bad about it. On one end, you know, I think some of you guys could be feeling bad about this thing that's just falling apart, or this person that's falling apart. It could be an air sign that is kind of going through a tower moment, and you really can't help them out at all. So that is stressing you out a little bit, you know, because I feel like you guys, a lot of you guys that are watching this, you do have a very good heart and you're a very giving person. A lot of Tauruses are very helpful and giving and nurturing, as part of your placement. But at the same time, you understand there's nothing you can do to help this situation out in the past. So um, you kind of have to like watch it crumble or feel it crumble, with your back turned to it. Now, this could be concerning a commitment maybe that you were in, possibly, that is falling apart, and the other party is having a tower moment and it is stressing you out at the same time because maybe you had some type of link or attachment to this person. On the other end, another scenario, I should say, I feel like some of you guys could be stressed out about a prior commitment or a commitment that you have maybe within your business or within your work or job, something that you are tied into that you're just kind of anxious about a little bit. And it's keeping you up at night because you maybe want to perfect it so much. This could be a presentation that you're having to present or something. And I do feel like you guys are kind of tied in a little bit to that Capricorn energy that was going on in the beginning of August. Capricorn was dealing with some competition or presentation or some type of environment where they wanted to come in first place. I do feel like some of you guys are dealing with that too. And this thing is kind of stressing you out, maybe. Um, Now, I do feel like for some of you other guys, this is um, a certain belief system, like I was talking about, that is kind of falling away from you. And I think we did discuss that in the beginning of the month, Taurus, about how you were changing or having a shift in perspective and the way you viewed certain things. I think it was surrounding love too. Um, So this is also the thing that's kind of stressing your mind out because a certain belief system could be falling away. You could be choosing to let go of a certain belief system, or the tower moment is here. So there is a shift in perspective that's changing and falling away, out with the old and with the new. And so you could be choosing to walk away from these traditions or the way that you viewed life in a certain type of way. And it is painful because there's kind of like a tear that's happening. But you are coming out kind of like with a brand new perspective and brand new mind. Right? I feel like this is probably why the King of Swords is here with the Tower moment, because this does have to do with, well, for some of you guys, your thinking, right? An evolution of your mind, a shift in perspective, a change point of view that's shifting. And one is falling away while another one is being built up and erected. And it's taking a lot for you to do this because it's work. I feel like it is work, and it is, it's dealing with your mentality, right? And that is not easy to change. But it has been kind of like a long time coming. So this world energy that I see here is talking about how you're stepping into this cycle. But you could be the one that's kind of defensive a little bit, but I do feel like it's more with these false beliefs or false programming that is defensive to this change that's happening within your mind. Right? But it is here. Even though it's going to be a little bit of a struggle, right? To walk away from this Hierophant energy. Hierophant usually represents traditions, belief systems, benchmarks in our life, right? Like deep, hardened ways of seeing the world. And you're awakening to something that's totally different from this and having to kind of turn your back on these older beliefs. And for some of you guys, this is causing stress, right? But it's all in your mind, right? It's the nine of swords, so it's just mental. It's just thoughts. It's not really happening in reality, but it does feel very real because the mind makes it real, right? Yeah, I'm feeling that Matrix line right there. It was like a part of the Matrix where Neo was loaded up into this jump program or jump system, and it was yeah, this matches Taurus. But this program that he got loaded up into, him and Morpheus, if you guys haven't seen the movie Matrix, he was supposed to jump from one building to another because it's a simulated reality. So Morpheus was trying to teach him, like, you can do anything inside of this reality if your mind can conceive it. So Morpheus went up first and he jumped from one building in New York City to another skyscraper, and the jump was like not humanly possible, right? When it comes down to gravity and everything else scientifically. But he was able to make that jump from one building to the other. And then Neo looked like, how did you do that? Like, how is this possible? And even though Neo knew it was a simulation, even though he knew this world wasn't real and the regular laws of physics did not apply because it's a simulation, he still was struggling with making that jump. And this is kind of where I feel like you guys are at, Taurus. Yes. And so he kind of went back and he was like, okay, free my mind, free my mind. I'm just going to free my mind and jump and just make this jump, right? And he went and ran up as fast as he could and then jumped off the building, and it looked like he was about to like make the jump, but then he just midway just started falling. And he wasn't able to make the jump, but it was his first time making the jump, right? So he fell all the way to the ground and he hit the ground and kind of bounced up from it because that was part of the programming. But what happened was, after he unplugged out of that program, out of that lesson, and came back to the real reality, unplugged from the Matrix, his lip was bleeding, right? And he looked over to Morpheus and he was like, Morpheus, I thought you told me this wasn't real. I thought you told me this simulation was just a training simulation. It was a created reality. It's not real. And Morpheus told him, well, the mind makes it real, right? And this is kind of what I feel like some of you guys are going through. Like, you are trying to make this leap into this next place of believing, of manifestation, of bringing these great things into your world. But there's a certain amount of set beliefs and set ways of viewing your reality that is kind of getting in the way a little bit, and this is causing the dispute. This is causing like the confusion a little bit, right? But you're still moving along through it. You just have to really, you're testing your boundaries and making this jump, and your mind is making it more real than it is, especially when it comes down to things you've been believing for years, right? But yeah, I do feel like this progress is being made, though. And you're making the leap, but you may have to try it a couple of times, right? And fight against the urge to go back to an old way of viewing something. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense, Taurus. Keeping it moving, we have the Page of Wands clarified by the Nine of Swords. So Page of Wands energy is talking about this brand new idea, right? That is wanting to grow, that is wanting to kind of take a hold of your consciousness. And it's the ability to be able to see, like, okay, now I can jump from one skyscraper to the other skyscraper because I've been unplugged from the Matrix, and now I understand the Matrix is a program that's here, to enslave my mind. And I'm using analogies, right? I'm using the movie The Matrix to get this idea across, but there is a certain idea that is growing and blooming that's part of this new cycle, this new world that you're going into, that is growing and blossoming. But along with this growth, there's growing pains. And this is what the Nine of Swords is here again for. Because you're having growing pains, like you're letting go of one belief system while replacing it with a newer one simultaneously, right? And so you're upgrading. But there are these growing pains of kind of going back and forth, like, well, is this really real? Can I really do this? Like, maybe I should just go back and be plugged into the Matrix and go back to sleep, right? Because this is just too much. Like, this is kind of what I'm feeling with some of you guys. But yeah, the new beginning is here for you. Like this new passionate beginning, these new ideas are growing, this new philosophy, these new creative ideas are here, and you are passionate about it, which is what's going to take you further into this newness. But at the same time, you're just going to have to correct the places in your mind that want to keep you in the past. Your mentality is expanding. So with that expansion comes these growing pains. And it's, yeah, maybe quite stressful when we have these growing pains in the mind, this awakening, right? But at the end of it, you'll see like you come out flying, right? Like at the end of that, the first Matrix, after Neo had been through all these different lessons and had to deal with all this pain and these growing pains, the end of that movie, he was flying. Like instead of just making a jump from one building to the other, he could fly. And this is what I believe you guys are in the process of. You're learning how to fly. And of course that's symbolic, but take it how it feels to you. Like in certain areas of your life, you are going to be taking off, going into orbit, right? Blasting off into this newer energy. But before you can do that, you have to kind of get all of your systems in control. You have to, break through certain barriers that tell you, no, you can't do that. That's impossible. Like, you can't make money that type of way. You can't attract healthy relationships. There's no way you could have a loving relationship. All of your older relationships have not been loving. Like, it's no way you can, accomplish this goal or have this type of social circle or get into this type of tax bracket. You've never done this before. How do you think you're going to do it now? This is kind of what's happening. Because on one side, you had the hope and you know intuitively that, like, this is your new beginning. This is what you want to achieve and what you know you can achieve. But on the other end, it's like these older thoughts, these limiting belief systems. So yeah, I do feel like some of you guys are going into brand new tax brackets. And your old mind is just kind of like trying to keep you from doing that. Like you never made over 45,000. You never made over 50,000 in a year. You never made over 60,000. What makes you think you're going to be able to make six figures, right? You never made over 35,000 in a year. What makes you think you can make 70,000? Like, and you're just having to deal with it. But I do feel like this thing is set in motion. It's here. Your mind has to get on board with it. All right, let's keep it moving. Futuristic energy, Queen of Wands, the Sun card, King of Pentacles, and then the Seven of Wands. So, yeah, we're coming up at the end of your reading, Taurus. So I'm kind of going to blow through the rest of these cards. I think we needed to focus on your main storyline a lot. But Queen of Wands energy, talking about going into a form of action, right? This is the social butterfly of the tarot. And you could be coming out of this Four of Pentacles energy that was kind of holding you back a little bit in your near future. Four of Pentacles looks like it was here because you're going through this certain transformation where your mind is evolving and expanding, right? So you needed to maybe go back into hermit mode and be closed off and deal with these internal energies. After this passes, though, you're getting back out into Queen of Wands mode, connecting, collaborating. Who's doing something new? I want to be a part of it. Let's combine forces. Let's work together, getting things done, right? Because you're coming into the Sun energy after this transformation takes place. Death card here, talking about a closeout of a cycle, an ending of an older cycle you were in, and a completion, right? Transformation of the mind, transformation of your path and who you are. So you come back out into this Sun energy now in your near future, wanting to connect, wanting to shine your light, wanting to be out in the open. And I do feel like this is strongly tied into this Aquarius full moon and the effects of it. So this second half of August, definitely going into September, you're maybe going to feel a little bit more pep in your step, a lightheartedness, childish, more playful energy, tapping into your inner child, right? Because you've done a certain amount of internal work. And I think we were talking about this in your last reading too. So the transformation occurs and it puts you back into this moment of being in the sun, brightness, having a higher perspective, right? Seeing the growth. Um, and then here you go, Taurus, King of Pentacles, sitting comfortably next to these 10 of Pentacles, which is that tax bracket I was talking about, right? This increasing in funds or increasing in your ability to attract this abundance, right? Your belief that you can attract abundance is here. The self-confidence, the self-worth, the value that you see in yourself has arrived right after you make this transformation, after you get over these conflicting ideas and thoughts about yourself and break through the ceiling, the glass ceiling that was here, right, is what I feel like. And this is the outcome of it. Your palate can be more full, right? You have a more fuller palate. Your taste has kind of expanded a little bit, right? You want the more luxurious, finer things of life is what I feel like you're able to attract now, because you're no longer thinking on that smaller, way of seeing the world, that small-mindedness you've kind of broken out of in your future energy. So I do see you guys sitting pretty, King of Pentacles energy, right? Like enjoying the fruits of your labor, enjoying the fruits of this transformation, welcoming in the abundance. And at the end of it all, you've chosen to kind of walk away from those lower vibrations, right? You've fended off those forces of darkness that I was talking about at the beginning, that false programming, even the people that wanted to kind of keep you inside of this lower thinking or small-mindedness. I believe that you win, right? Like, this is a battle that you've had leverage over anyway, and you've defended yourself pretty good. So at the end of the day, there's going to be like a walking away from this, and it's kind of like you will let them be, whoever this is. Yeah. So you make that escape, right? You went through this tunnel that closed off behind you, and this is how you look on the other side of it. Like, give me my money. All right, fairy card, Taurus. You got the Six of Spring, which is definitely talking about what we've been talking about this whole reading. Wonderful news is on its way. Smart choices that brings rewards, success, and public recognition. So yeah, this is that graduation. This is the recognition. This is the win, the victory that you get over this closeout that you've been maybe working on for a while, and you finally come to the conclusion and burst through this new world. And you're coming through looking good. Like, you've earned a lot along the way, or you learned a lot along the way, right? And it's crazy how, wow, I didn't even see that. The world card is sitting right up there. This is the same thing. And you come through with the flag of that, like, this is what I've earned. These are the stripes that you're being recognized for. You've created a new world. Like, you've jumped into this new world. You've quantum leaped into this brand new cycle. So let's go, Taurus. All right, I'm going to wrap it up right there. Hopefully you guys resonated with that. If so, let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe if you like the channel. and I will see you guys in September.